The Israel army has suffered its heaviest casualties in war in half a century. The numbers are staggering, the losses devastating. Over 726 Israeli soldiers have died, more than 4,500 have been injured, and this marks Israel's highest military casualty count since the 1973 Yom Kippur War. But here's the question. What does this tell us about the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF? Not just that, Hezbollah missiles have hit military targets which have the highest degree of protection from Israel's famous Iron Dome. Israel's intelligence failures have been exposed. How did Israel reach this point is the question. And more importantly, why did Israel reach this point? Are the once so-called invincible Israel Defense Forces now showing signs of vulnerability? You see, a year has passed since Hamas launched the surprise attack on Israel, and in response, Israel unleashed a relentless attack campaign on Gaza, declaring an all-out war on Hamas. The goal was to eliminate Hamas. But here we are, a year later, and despite all the military might Israel has brought to bear, Hamas remains very much operational. In fact, its leader, Yahya Sinwar, is reportedly still directing operations. In fact, reports suggesting that Sinwar has even established contact with mediators in Qatar, hinting at a potential ceasefire or hostage exchange. Sinwar is reportedly surrounded by at least 20 hostages with 25 kilograms of dynamite strapped to him, making any strike on him perilous. Remember, Israel is also fighting on multiple fronts, not just against Hamas in Gaza, but against Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iran-backed militias in Iraq and Syria, and even the Houthis in Yemen. The Iron Dome defense system has been considered the crown jewel of Israel's military, but is reportedly showing cracks. Just this week itself, Hezbollah rockets struck the Israeli port city of Haifa. The IDF reportedly later admitted that the Iron Dome had failed to intercept some of these rockets, and while no injuries were reported, Israel's image as a secure, well-defended state is once again under focus, especially after last week's attack by Iran, where reportedly many rockets made their way through the Iron Dome and struck Israel, something that was outrightly denied by Israel. So again, what does this mean for Israel, for the IDF? This brings us back to the core question. How did Israel reach this point? You see, this is not the 1973 Yom Kippur War, where Israel was fighting for its very survival against a coalition of Arab states. Today, Israel finds itself in a protracted conflict. The stakes are still incredibly high, but this time the war does not seem as existential as it once did. In fact, many experts argue that Israel achieved its military objectives in Gaza months ago. So why is this war continuing? What's going on? Some analysts suggest that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's political ambitions are playing a role. As per experts, Netanyahu, under immense pressure domestically, may be prolonging the conflict to avoid elections, a move that could ultimately cost him his position. Remember, Netanyahu has made it clear that he does not want to negotiate with Hamas, but this is coming at a cost. Israeli soldiers continue to die, and the death toll on the Palestinian side keeps increasing. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 42,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, have lost their lives since the war broke out 12 months ago. There seems to be no plan for peace and a perpetual cycle of violence with no resolution in sight. The casualty figures tell only one part of the story. As per reports, the IDF has stated that the 726 Israeli casualties are just the names they have been permitted to release, raising questions over whether the actual death toll is actually likely to be higher. And what does that mean for the morale of the Israeli soldiers and citizens who are undoubtedly questioning the price they are paying for this conflict? As Israel continues to face threats from just about every corner, Hezbollah, for instance, reportedly targeted the IDF's Gilot military base near Tel Aviv, home to the IDF's Signals Intelligence Unit 8200 and adjacent to Mossad headquarters. Hezbollah's rockets reportedly struck dangerously close to the Mossad headquarters, underscoring just how exposed Israel has become to its enemies. It is clear that Israel is at a critical juncture. Each day, the fear of the escalation into a broader regional war looms large, and at this point, peace seems distant, pretty distant, especially when Netanyahu's refusal to engage in negotiations keeps the door firmly shut on any diplomatic resolution. As the crisis continues to unfold, one thing is certain: Israel can no longer rely on its past reputation as an invincible force in West Asia. Its intelligence failures, its penetrable military defenses, and its precarious political situation, all pointing to a country grappling with challenges it has not faced in decades. Israel, you see, stands at a crucial juncture. And if it does not find a way to bring this conflict to a close, the costs, both human and political, will only continue to mount. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.